Hello, this is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, and this is Friday, April 26, 2024. Currently, the temperature is around 66 degrees here in Lexington, Kentucky. Today, the temperature went all the way up to 74, and showers early, lows overnight in the low 60s, rain ending around 5:15 p.m. Tornado threat over wide area into Saturday. There was even a video clip of a tornado setting down in Nebraska. Again, I'm Theodore Parker. This is a sideshow. And here in Lexington, Kentucky, the wind was around 13 miles per hour. The AQI is good at 33. Sunrise was at 6:46 a.m. and sunset will be at 8:24 p.m. Pollen was high today. Along with that, hello, in case you're wondering, yes, it is evening time, so good evening to all of you in the viewing audience would also be appropriate. If you're watching the sideshow on Facebook and Instagram, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Talk about it on WhatsApp. If you're watching the sideshow on YouTube, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, the sideshow coffee cup, 11-ounce black ceramic, dishwasher safe with the sideshow logo on it. Buy from me for $17 plus shipping and handling. Pay me through Cash App, $TR Parker 1. Good for most beverages, hot and cold. Dishwasher safe. The sideshow coffee cup. Again, this is April 26, 2024. Heading into the weekend, the last weekend of April. Next weekend, it will be May. Some of the lead stories. Starting out with sports, at the end of the day, it's just basketball. LeBron James, who clearly doesn't give a crap about his job, is quoted. Now, this was kind of a bounce back story because if this is a correct quote from LeBron James, it's something that most parents would say to their child after a poor performance on the basketball court. Maybe dribbled up, lost control, stumbled over their own feet type thing. But not to somebody who loved the game of basketball, according to the person that wrote the article. Loved it so much that they converted it into a lifetime experience and a job that paid money. So, I did watch at least one game with LA and Denver. And LA did have the lead playing at Denver, but did not win the game. So for my part, the only thing that I would add would be that it is team. LeBron James gave a good performance, so did AD. And in game number 2, I believe the buzzer beater was against AD in the defensive position, but it was a step back jumper which dropped in the bucket. So, as AD said to those news reporters that were interviewing him after the game, he made the shot, dropped the mic. So, one other thing, between the two of them, LeBron James and AD, I think they put up as much as the whole team did in scoring. So, if you ever played a pickup game, and if you out there in the viewing audience, male or female, you know that it's 5 people on the court, and that makes 10 when you include both sides. So it's not just you by yourself. Next one, John Calipari finally tells the truth, admits he should have taken the UCLA job 5 years ago. Everyone would have been better if it had happened. Again, from the article's perspective, there was a little use of profanity here and there by the person who wrote the article. Was talking about coulda, had, shoulda, but the feelings that are left with some Kentucky fans about the last few times that Calipari coached the team towards the NCAA championship and was not successful. And it was a good reminder now that I think about it. 3 or 4 years ago, we were right in the middle of the pandemic starting. So there was a lot of give and take on how games were being played, player participation, setup, audience participation, fan viewing, all of this type of thing played a part. Coming out of that, again, we will not be out of the pandemic for 1 full year until May the 11th. So we still might have a little residue, if not physically, but in our attitudes, and also with variants of COVID-19 still going on now. So the give and take of it is, if you will allow me to give you a summation of some of the comments that the person who wrote the article said, if Calipari had taken the job in UCLA, he would not be in a conference that included Kentucky, the SEC. So therefore, it would not have been so much involved with feelings as him taking the job in Arkansas, which keeps him in the SEC conference. So now, instead of just saying, yeah, that was our coach, now Kentucky has to compete according to the setup with Arkansas. So there are going to be some feelings continue to be rubbed with this selection for a job. So there we have that. And if you haven't seen it in the news but are aware, 150,000 people have gathered in Detroit for, guess what? The NFL draft. And according to my understanding, it will be starting at 8 p.m. right now, Friday, April 26, 2024. So a lot of people are anticipating how this will go. And just as a added comment related to Coach Calipari and the incoming Coach Pope, who's setting up his staff and looking at prospective players for Kentucky. Since he was a former Kentucky player, then there are some additional feelings going in with that. Sports-related lead stories. Top stories. Coming to you from Lexington, Kentucky, the sideshow with Theodore Parker. Representative Schiff reportedly robbed in San Francisco, forced to attend a ritzy campaign dinner with no suit to wear. So according to reports, Representative's car was broken into, his belongings stolen, so he had to appear at this campaign dinner with a short-sleeved shirt and a vest. So he, as they say, bravely let the show go on and continued to, I'm not going to say it's a campaign, but in California, replacing former Representative Feinstein. So that was the situation at the time. Next, Biden says he's happy to debate Trump. I can understand that, although it's still debatable whether or not that will be necessary. But he says he would. Matthew McConaughey and his wife Camila Alves, 3 kids, are all grown up on rare red carpet outing. So this was a special event. Matthew McConaughey teamed with two other people, one of them a football coach, Mac, and they had formed a charity or a foundation that would give special attention to children in a certain area. And their own children, 17, 15, and 14, two boys and a girl. The girl is 14. McConaughey had on a blue suit, navy blue. His wife, Camelia, had on a black dress. The two boys had on black suits, impeccably dressed, as the person who wrote the article used the expression, meaning, I guess, white tennis shoes. And the young lady at 14 was dressed in pink. So that was the Matthew McConaughey family. Matthew McConaughey and wife Camelia Abez with their 3 children, making a rare red carpet appearance. Mitch McConnell doesn't think Trump should have presidential immunity. Now, at this point, I think somewhere an article just flashed for a minute about one of the judges, Clarence Thomas, thinking the same way. But I didn't get a chance to delve into the article, so I'm going to reserve any comments that I would have made. Romanian court rules Andrew Tate's rape human trafficking trial can start. So apparently Andrew Tate is one of those people who has engaged in human trafficking and was apprehended, him and his brother, in the company of 2 women. And these charges have been developed. The trial is going to proceed in Romania. The prosecution has successfully presented evidence that would warrant a trial, but no date has been set. Once these proceedings are handled in Romania, things are set up for him to be extradited to UK for further criminal prosecution. DNC slams Nome over horrifying story about shooting her family's dog. So this is a person who wrote a book, is in politics. And in the book, she notes that she had a hunting trip and she had a 14-month-old hunting dog with her. And the dog got away, had bad attitude. And when she was trying to corral the dog in, the dog turned and snapped at her. So she took the dog over in a gravel pit and shot the dog. So this is all designated in her book. But not so there's any, excuse me, any misunderstandings. A goat was chasing her kids and smelled bad, and she shot the goat too. So there you have it. Some urge boycott of Wyoming as rural angst over wolves clashing with cruel scenes of one in a bar. So apparently all over the lower 48, for the most part, gray wolves are considered to be an endangered species. But they were reintroduced into Yellowstone Park and have since grown in numbers. So Wyoming, cowboy state, along with surrounding states, have their fair share of the gray wolf population. The incident that's being spoken of here is someone hit a gray wolf with their car and apparently didn't kill it, taped the wolf's mouth shut, brought the wolf to a local bar, and proceeded to have a field day with the experience. But it was all within the area where gray wolves can be hunted to maintain or keep them from attacking the cattle population of surrounding people that depend on cattle for a living. So it is a controlled thing. It's not just, oh, gray wolf, So it's only in certain areas. So this happened in that area. So it's a twofold thing. Laws have been in place to protect the gray wolf for a number of years. But in this particular area, Wyoming, outside of Yellowstone Park, and other surrounding states, a few, the gray wolf can be hunted. So that is the circumstances under which this article was presented. Jamie Dimon, who is JP Morgan CEO, thinks he knows why people are so gloomy about the economy. Thinks that 20% of the lower part of the American population is not getting enough money. So therefore, as would be noted by any banking institution, their ability to make housing purchases and things of this nature, which banks definitely do invest in as a part of their package to those people who want to procure homes, is limited. So he thinks that these things should be addressed in wages and in other ways and allow people to purchase homes and do other high-end buying. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan CEO. Next, gold pocket watch found on body of Titanic's richest man after he went down on ship goes on sale. So at the time, I want to say Astor was the richest man in the world, or the richest man on the Titanic. His money numbered in the millions then, and would be equal to about 2.87 million now, billion now. So his wife was pregnant, and she was allowed to get onto one of the boats that was leaving the Titanic. And even though he pleaded about her delicate condition, he was not. So he was last seen on the deck of the ship as they rowed away. So as you know, there have been several exploratory dives towards the Titanic, and especially now, this being April, I think it went down on the 22nd of April. Subsequently, this watch had been recovered based on his body being found and his initials inside of his coat and also inside the watch. So over the years, since the early 1900s, the watch was passed on, gifted, and held in the family, with suitable recognition for the Astors. And now it's being put up for sale with a suitable affidavit statement as to the authenticity of the watch. And what they're asking is, £150,000 for it is what they want. Pentagon confirms U.S. military has begun construction on Gaza humanitarian aid pier. I thought this was in the news before. Maybe they're building another one. Maybe with all the bombing back and forth, the first one got destroyed. But this should be done in the early part of May, or in the month of May, which allowed them to get humanitarian aid to the Palestinians, while the Hamas-Israeli war goes on. That's it. Hashtag